Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing something kind of silly and going over my very specific awards for 2021. I've seen a lot of people doing their top 10 best and worst videos for all the books they read in 2021, and I do have that, so if you guys want to see that from me too, let me know. I have a couple of different versions of it, some for series, some for standalones, but I wanted to do something a little bit different and commemorate my year in a slightly different way. There are a couple of standout moments that I had throughout the year, and I just really want to draw attention and highlight those books, even if it's just for me to look back on a couple years from now. Without further ado, these are my very specific awards for the books that I read in 2021. To start off with, you know how sometimes you read a particular word and you've never really heard somebody use that word before, and then all of a sudden it comes up in all of the books you're reading? Well, when I came back from my hiatus from reading, I started watching booktube, started reading heavily again. Limned is the word that stuck out to me. So much so that I started keeping a limned count on my phone. So this is going to be the award for most uses of limned. And the runner-up with 3 uses, 2 of limned and 1 of limbs, is Fireheart Tiger. However, this does deserve a call out because that book is only 103 pages long, so they used some version of limb every 34 pages. Respectable, impressive, but the book that wins for the highest limbed count is The Jasmine Throne, and that's 6 uses of limbed. 4 of the regular version and 2 on the same page that were red limbed. So congratulations, The Jasmine Throne. The winner for grossest sensory description is The Seven of Infinities, because at one point there's somebody who used to be a person and is now kind of like a spaceship, but they have a semi-holographic, I don't really understand it, body, and they and the main character kiss, and they describe the taste of oil lingering on their lips, and I hate that. Super gross. You win. The next category is Ballsiest Bitch, and the runner-up for this one is Aitmata from the Greenbone Saga, cause damn. I can't picture that girl in anything but a pantsuit. But the winner here is Into the Woods, because not only did she vow to get back at this motherfucker when he wronged her, but she wrote it to literally hang over his head in a constellation in the sky, telling him, I am coming for you, this is gonna be the day. I love that for her. Ballsiest bitch. Next up is the Greatest Grandma category, and I have 2 who are kinda tied for this. One is Gigi from the Brown Sisters trilogy, and I listened to the audiobooks for these while I was reading along with the book. I cannot describe how amazing the voice is that the actress puts on when she narrates all of Gigi's lines. There was not a single time that I didn't want to immediately spit that line back out loud. So please excuse my terrible accent. I'm going to try to recreate it here. But this is one of Gigi's quotes. Such strange granddaughters I have. I'm so proud. Your father is depressingly ordinary. So that's Gigi. We love her. I hope that we get a spin-off and see her love story someday. The other is the grandma from The Raven and the Reindeer. And in the first 15 pages, her granddaughter is complaining about being not like other girls. She says, "In this very town," said her grandmother, "there are at least a dozen girls staring at windows right this very minute, saying the exact same thing." And then she's also knitting her socks at the same time, and she kind of runs out of yarn on one of them and asking if, hey, is it okay if one of your socks is just green on the top? Because I ran out of yarn in this color. I guarantee none of the other girls will have a sock like it. That girl, they will say, that girl is not like other girls. Just look at her socks. So yeah, just a spicy little attitude on these grandmas, and I'm here for it. Loving all these great grandmas. My best reread goes to A Deadly Education, because the first time I finished this book, I ranted about how much I hated a lot of the elements in it. But the second time, I couldn't remember what I hated anymore, and I just smiled and laughed all the way through. Super happy to be back in this world. So that was an excellent reread. For our next category, I kind of sort of have a runner-up, and I'm not quite sure how to phrase this, so I'm going to call it the Gaggiest Line. These are the lines that absolutely made me go, ugh. The runner-up is probably the winner at heart, but because it's not an actual line of the book, it's just the tagline that they use to sell it, technically it doesn't quite fit the category. But this is Down Comes the Night, and the tagline that they use to promote this book is, he saw the darkness in her magic, she saw the magic in his darkness. I have no idea what that means. It's terrible, and mostly it means nothing, and I hate it so much. But the winner in this category is a small little, like, smutty novella called The Headmaster, in which she's talking about their eye color, and she mentions how her own eye color is blue, and he has the audacity to not only correct her, but say, your eyes aren't blue, they're azure. Which, like, yo, dude, if you look it up in a dictionary, azure means blue. You win. That's terrible. We have 2 runners-up for favorite plant. I really enjoyed the tree in The Winnowing Flame. That is possibly the coolest tree that I've ever read about, and I love all of the plants in the Atlas 6. You cannot stop me from quoting them, like, at least once a week. But I have to give it in this category to The Doors of Sleep. Minna, you are the best plant, and I love you. Never stop being OP. The winner for Buffy-est Vibes is Lights of Prague. This is essentially a Victorian, gender-bent Buffy, and I totally loved it. It hit all of my nostalgia buttons. I had a great time, and when I made this category, my husband was teasing me like, you'll never be able to use that category again. But I'm about to have a book from the library delivered called In Every Generation, so joke's on him. It's a good category, and this book wins. The winner for most Uncle Iroh vibes is A Psalm for the Wild Built. And I've mentioned this book a billion times by now. It's just a warm hug and a sweet little tea date with a picnic with my Uncle Iroh, and he tells you wonderful things. Excellent book. The winner for most innovative format is Interior Chinatown. I cannot recommend this book enough. I think it's really, really wonderful, but also I love the way that it plays with genre and with format. It's stylistically one of the most unique books that I've read, and it uses that as a very important way to help deliver its message. So, super great book, and very, very politically apt. The winner for Halloweeniest book is Rules for Vanishing, and this book just hit so many buttons for a Halloween book. It's got your urban legends, we've got ghosts, we've got creatures and spooky things happening, we've got townspeople and creepy religions, and just honestly everything. It's all the things, and I don't know how it managed to get all of it in one book that feels cohesive, but bravo. Full Halloween mode. The winner for Greatest Detail, which is a little known book that recently came out called The Lighthouse Witches. And somewhere towards the beginning of this book, like one of the earliest chapters, they're moving to a new location and her daughter kind of reaches out to touch things and she explains, oh, her favorite texture is wood chip. And I just love that. I don't think I've ever heard another character's favorite texture, so fantastic little detail to add. It really made the characters come alive. The winner for most relatable character again goes to The Raven and the Reindeer. And this is a double winner, folks.
You got a double showcase, Heather. Double showcase. You want both showcases.
There were multiple moments when I looked up from this book just to say, I relate to Gerda. I relate to her. She's super socially anxious, and it's written in just such a way that I totally connect with. I don't know if I've ever done that with a character before. This might have been the first time. I love this little book, and I can't wait to read it again. The winner for our best setup and payoff goes to The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. This is the end of Mistborn Era 1, and I just thought it tied everything so well together. I could see all of the connections and how everything had been set up and planned from the beginning, and the level of detail, the level of planning was just really mind-blowing. I couldn't have realized that while I was reading it, but now I can't wait to go back and pick up on all the little things that I missed before. This is currently my pinnacle for best example of setup and payoff, just period. The winner for most smiles, especially if we're going on a per word count, is For He Can Creep, which I actually reread at least once last year as well. And I love this little book. No, it's not a book. It's not even a novella. It's so short. It's one of those Tor.com entries that they have for free on their website, because honestly, it's not even long enough to charge money for. but I love this little book. It's all from the perspective of a cat, and it's based on a real-life poet and a real-life poem that he wrote about his cat. And somebody just interpreted that, and his cat is fighting the devil, trying to preserve the poet's soul. But it nails the personality of a cat in such a humorous way. Absolutely love it. Most laughs. This category is very hard to come up with because I'm not exactly measuring my laughs while I had them. But the book that left me the most impression of having laughed throughout it is The Man Who Died Twice. This is super cute. We're following a bunch of senior citizens doing a murder mystery type of thing, and I love this book. It's got a great sense of humor. It's got a lot of like old people jokes as well, and just the little parts of their lives that you don't see in other sects. So, love it. The winner, with no competition whatsoever, for most absurd line is Library of the Dead. And I will not provide any context here. The line is, "The duck calmly swims past." Pure gangster. Our next award is the highest what the fuck count. And this is the book that made me say, what the fuck, the most number of times. The winner, with, again, no competition, is Bunny. I think there was one point where I just drove home after a long walk, and I was listening to the audiobook, parked the car, and just the thing that happened right when I parked the car made me sit and stare into the abyss for like 5 minutes on pause. Just, what the fuck just happened? What am I reading? I do not understand. I do love the book though. I ended up buying it, 5 stars, totally great. But, what the fuck? The next award is the Rainbow Award, and the runner-up for this is Wayward Children. It's super inclusive, got a wide range of LGBT representation in there, but the actual winner is going to be Defect, because I don't know if I've read a gayer book in just the best way. I love this book. It is wild and weird and super bizarre, but wonderful. Well earned. The award for ruining a good thing. I don't know what else to call this. This is when a series has an amazing start and it's 5 stars. I don't see how they can go downhill from here, and ends up with a 1 as the finale. And that's only human. Congratulations to the Famous Files. I love the first book, and from now on we'll be pretending that it is a standalone because it gives me enough closure and satisfaction, and like, man, did I not like book 3. Terrible. Terrible. In any other year, the winner for Best Audiobook could have gone to The Greenbone Saga, because I think that he does an immaculate job bringing the whole book to life. The different voices that he does for all the characters, and it's a wide cast, but he delivers some of the best audiobook narration that I've heard. However, this year he was competing against Daisy Jones and the Six. That's gotta be the winning book for this category, because that has a full cast of actual actors, not just voice actors. And they did such a good job making all of these characters so realistic, and yeah, that's the best audiobook. But definitely listen to the Greenbone Saga too. And finally, our last category goes to, I don't know, the most men writing women. This is the most men writing women category. And the award goes to Deacon King Kong for having a cop interviewing a regular woman, kind of doing choir practice and whatever, and being distracted throughout the conversation by her nodding headlights. I think there was some stuff in there about her graceful neck and stuff as well, but like, nodding headlights? Come on. Dude, come on. That's the end of my awards. I've got nothing left to give. But I hope this was fun for you to watch. It was definitely a lot of fun for me to make. I think this is an interesting way to kind of look back at the year and remember some of the highlights, some of the good, some of the bad, that are just things that stand out. Let me know in the comments down below, have you read any of these books? What's your favorite category? What would you award for some of the books that you've read this year? Also feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!